the new Gohan Blue Leader for set 4 has an ability that lets you play an extra at a much reduced cost. How good are those extra those? Well, let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and today I've got my personalized list for this Son Gohan Adolescence Blue Leader from set 4. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I upload daily duels and deck profiles for different anime TCGs. Alright, here we go. We're going to talk about every single card from lowest to highest, the game plan and how it works. To give you an overview, this is a pure blue deck running around Son Gohan cards, Adolescence, plus Gotenks cards. You want to awaken as soon as possible to be able to use one of these 6 different event cards in here to make a big play as soon as you awaken. Alright, so let's talk about the leader first. This is Gohan from set 4. 15,000 power. When attacking, draw 1 card, and then you can awaken at 4 life. Flipping it over, here's what it looks like. This is 20,000 power. Also, when attacking, draw 1 card, and remember the whole deck is based around this ability. This is why we built it. So if you have any sort of upgrades or things you would remove, let me know. We can make the deck even better for the future. So activate once per turn, meaning only on your turn. You discard 1 card. Then the next time you use an extra, specifically with both Saiyan and Earthling, it has to have those 2 traits inside the card at the bottom here. For example, like this, you reduce the cost by 2. So basically, if it's a 2 cost, it'll be free. If it's a 5 cost, it'll be 3, etc. Essentially, it lets you discard a card to play a really early event 2 turns earlier, you know, or at least 2 energies cheaper. So how good is that? Well, let's talk about this stuff. Alright, so the first card here is going to be My Future from set 1. This is a 1 cost, 5,000 power, 5,000 counter. On play, add up to 2 cards from your life to your hand. A really amazing ability because once again, like, this doesn't matter how far your opponent is awakened or anything like that. This is only you. You want to awaken ASAP. And so you can use the cards on pretty much, okay, I'll let you guys know the cost of the events, the 6 of them in here, they are a 5 cost event. So ideally you want to play this on turn 3 or turn 4, you know, your leader to be able to self-revive if possible. So adding 2 is really good. Then auto once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards, when an opponent's battle card is returned to their hand by one of your skills, you get to draw 1 card. So this is really good to just stay on the board. Honestly, its effects are amazing, right? You self-awaken for 2. Then you can draw if you bounce back one of their characters or bottom deck it when the time is right. So extremely good. You're running 4 of these. Next card we have is Mighty Mass. This is from set 3. This is Saiyan Earth 2-2010. Per minute. This is also treated as Goten and Trunks in all of the areas. So this is here just for a little bit of synergy with the Goten and Trunks stuff. Also, you know, it's a pretty good card to just throw out on turn 2 for the 10,000. And you remember, if it's super early, you throw out a 2, you throw out a 20, your opponent has to use more resources to attack into it. Usually don't like throwing straight 15 cost out. That's what I'm running to. This is one of the exceptions. It's a 15,000 you're going to be throwing out, but for a good reason. So this is Son Goten from starter deck 2. 2-15-10. When attacking, self-awaken. You want to self-awaken ASAP for sure. Then if you have 7 or fewer, you get to bounce back a 2 or less character. It's pretty awesome if you're able to play this on turn 1, this on turn 2, and somehow bounce something back, and you have 7 or less. You're gonna get some stuff there. I don't know if you'll be at 7 or less, because with this you're going to be adding 2. Maybe we'll see. But anyway, it's a great card to play in turn 2 right after you set up the My. Next we have Trunks, and it's every single turn too, so a really good card. Trunks Youth from starter deck 2 as well. 2-15-10, so same stat line here. Per minute your turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards on your turn, this gets 10,000, making it a 25,000 attacker. On play, you self-awaken. So first turn self-awaken, second turn self-awaken. It's pretty good. So if you start with 8 life and you first turn My, you take 2. Your opponent hits you, you take 3. Then you play Son Goten or a Trunks. Then you take another one. Dude, they only have to hit you once and you're already 4 down life. On your next turn, you can self-awaken. On turn 3, you'll be able to use your 5 cost events, which is the best case scenario. Or if they don't attack you, you have 2 Mice, you play 2 Mice and you're good to go. It's a really, really easy setup deck. So running 4 of these. Next off, we have Gotenks. This is your 3 cost for starter deck 2. I can't read. This is 3 25-10 Gotenks. A really decent stat line, good counter. It's here because you can summon this with an ability later. 2, 3, 4. Next off, we have another 3-cost character. This is Vegito. So basically, this is from set 2. This is 325 5000, so at least it has a counter with this amazing ability. Permanent on your turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards, every single one of your opponent's battle cards is reduced by 1, just passively, so you can use a lot of different effects here. On play, you can choose up to a character's battle 1 or less and place it to the bottom. So if you have no other things that, you know, lower cost, you can at least bounce back a 2 if you have the required 7 or fewer cards. Really good card. Now we have a new card from set 4. This is Go Tanks. This is a 430. Permanent. If you have 10 or more cards in your drop, this gains 5000 power, making it a 35. It's pretty decent on its own, but if you can get that 10 drop, that'll be sweet. On play, you place the top 2 cards from your deck into the trash. Then you choose a battle card with 3 or less that your opponent has and place it to the bottom. Once again, if you're able to set it beforehand, because right now this is the only card in the deck that kind of lowers the cost, so you're running a bunch of these. So if you're able to set these up, kind of stay on the field, and then you can lower the cost, so you're going to be able to bounce back a 4 to the bottom, which is great. And because you're also placing the 2 to the bottom, you have a high chance of getting this thing to go off. Now remember, this is permanent. Your turn, opponent's turn. So it's a really decent card. Running only 4 of these because we have these other Go Tanks in here as well. So this one is from starter deck 2. This is a 425. On play, if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, grab a Goten or Trunks with 2 or less from your drop to your hand. So obviously your different targets are these Trunks, which is not the best attacker but good counter. Usually when you're playing this, you maybe are at 5 life, 4 life. You probably all don't want to self-awaken, so you can grab these, but your best target is probably gonna be this, so you can at least attack for a good 20,000 and have a good counter. So that's why we're running a couple of these in here, but only 2 because we prioritize these other ones here for self-awakening. So this one helps you just it helps you like just grab some more fuel in your hand. 1, 2, so running 2 of these. Now we're running Sun Gohan Adolescences. These are from set 3. It is set 3. Okay, so this one's 430. On play, if you have 7 or fewer, choose 2 battle cards with 3 or less and bottom deck it. Remember, if you have the Vegito back here that's set up, you can do a 2/3 cost or less to the bottom. Really good card. Really good control card. Next off, we have Vegito from set 2. So this is Saiyan Potara, 530, and with a counter. Can you believe it? There's a countering in here. So on play, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with 5 or less and return it to the hand. Unfortunately, it's not bottom decking it, but you know, anything that you return, they have to replay it again. So this is an interesting ability. I would much rather have this been 4 or less and bottom deck it. But once again, you can Vegito here, and then it could be a 6 or less. But usually, you're just fine with the 5. Then activate main once per turn. If you have 7 or fewer cards, you can switch this to active. Now, also, just remember with this as well, even if you go back to your hand, if you have 1 or 2 or 3 Mai's on the field and you don't have a lot of cards, boom, you're going to activate that. You're going to be able to draw cards with that Mai. It's going to be great. But this one can attack 30 twice in 1 turn, as long as they have 7 or fewer. It's really good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now time to move on to the interesting thing about the leader is you'll be able to play out events. So this is your 5 events. With the leader ability, it becomes a 3. Let's see how good it is. Amazing hidden potential from the new set. It costs 5 down to a 3. You can play up to 1 Gotenks or a Sun Gohan Adolescence, both with a cost of 4 or less from your drop. So that's pretty interesting, from your drop. Then choose, so you're not really using anything from your hand except this card. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and reduce its cost by 1 for the turn. So it's a cost reduction and it's a summoning. Imagine that you use the Gotenks or Gohan to use as a counter. So it's now in the drop, and then you can use this on when you have 3 energy. Boom, bam, you summon a freaking 4-drop and you clear the board. Let me give you an example of the 4 Gohan. So you can summon this Gohan, and you can bottom deck 2 cards, 1 4 to 1 3, because remember this reduces 1 cost, which is really good. Or you can summon these Gohans to get the Gotenks to get the Goten and Trunks back to your hand. Or this one is probably one of the best ones to do. Let's see. Yeah, you place the top 2, then you choose the opponent's battle card with 3 or less in bottom deck. So this Gotenks and the Gohan. Those are the best ones to grab off of this effect. So we're running 3 of these, and the reason why, even though this whole leader revolves around using the effects, we're only running 6 of these because you don't want to have your deck, you don't want to clog your hand with anything 0 cost counters, because you have to discard some to get these 7 or less and put for a lot of your effects. Besides, with the amount of drawing you're doing with attacking, the amount of drawing you're getting from self-awakening, you're most likely gonna get at least 2 of these. And honestly, the best you could probably hope for is to get this off 2 to 3 times, and that's why you don't need that many extras of these in your hand. All right, well, anyway, yep, these cards. So we're running 3. Next off, it's the other Overwhelming Confidence. This is from set 4 as well. It's a rare. So activate main, place the top 3 of your deck into the trash, then you draw 1 card, then play 1 battle card 4 or less with special save from your drop. So this one's good for pretty much reducing and destroying. This one is drawing a card, fixing up your drop, so you can increase that Gotenks card that requires 10 and a 4 or less, which they, you know, as we saw the Gohan and the Gotenks, they have pretty good ability even if you don't lower it. But once again, if you have a Vegeta in the back line, then you're good to go. So that's why we're running a couple of these. Now, for your late games, if your opponent just simply survives and you want to keep on piling on the damage, this is Vegito Secret Rare from set 4, 640, 0 per minute. You don't lose the game, even if you have 0 cards in your deck. But if you have 0 cards in your deck, this gains 10,000, making it a 650. You're usually not ever going to get your hands to 0. I mean, your deck to 0 with this deck, unless it goes super late. There's just not enough sifting for that. There's a couple of stuff, but once again, you're probably not going to get that low. But if it is later on, there's going to be a lot of extra cards later that'll make you sift through your deck. It's going to be cool. But yeah, activate main once per turn. You can switch this to active mode, meaning you can attack first before you do this. Then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, return to the hand, and then your Mize can go off again. Then place the top 5 of your deck into its owner's drop. So if this card stays on the turn for a couple of stays on the field for a couple turns, yeah, you might be able to get to 0. But if your opponent somehow removes this, it's not on the field anymore, you lose. You pretty much lose. So that is the deck. This is an interesting deck because, you know, it's a really, really specific setup and a really easy to follow play style. Oh yeah, we have these Vidals here. There is no synergies with these in the deck. It's just here. But yeah, a reason, once again, I cut 4 of each is because 8 just feels too much. In a deck that's 50 or 52, I don't know how much I put in here, you're most likely going to get them. And once again, if you get 1 or 2, that's as best as you can hope for to cheat out some really good cards for the low cost energy. And then, yeah, just a little bit of support. So it's a really, not a lot of room, not a lot of wiggle room for me personally in terms of what I want to do with this deck. But I like what it is, and honestly, it's pretty easy to play. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye.